Imagine we have imported the data set, and in my demo, I changed the primary key, but you can also think about at some point you need to change the data type. For example, you made a mistake, you defined the integer and you reach the limit, and then you want to use big int, for example, or something like that. How to change that? And that's an interesting question because in Postgres, DL is transactional, so you can change it. But the problem is that even if it's transactional, doing multiple DL or DML within a same transaction atomic, it will lock the tables. And in Yugabyte, because we are distributed, we don't like to lock the tables. So I have a blog post to show how I change the type of colon in a Yugabyte table without this atomic DL. Usually, when we change it, it's good to do in different phases. You usually don't want to do the DL phase at the same time as the DML phase if you change a big table, because the DL is short but may have to lock the metadata. The DML can be long if you really have something that has to change the type on each row. That will be long, but it's more transactional because it doesn't lock. So the idea I have in this blog post, I have just an example where I define a data type, integer, and then I do that in multiple releases, because you can imagine that you already have the application running, all that. So the first release will add a new colon with the new data type. I change it to big integer, and that's quite fast. Adding a colon is quite easy. There is no default value to set on all of them. And then you backfill this new colon with the value. That can take time. It's not a problem because it just runs without blocking anything. So those are updates. And you may want to define an index on it to do that faster. And I'm just going fast. I have somewhere where I defined a trigger also to define it automatically. And at the end, at some point, when you know that you have two columns that are synchronized because you do this backfilling and you created a trigger, then you can move to the new one. And this is another application release where you just rename the column. Maybe you want to keep the old one just in case. So different phases. And this is what happened with applications. You do not change those big things in one application release. You start by adding a new colon. If the application can put the value in this new colon, then you change it in the code, or if not, you use a trigger. And then when you know that everything is done, you can switch to use the colon and at some point remove the other one. So that's how we change the type. Of course, it's always better to think about the data type before loading a lot of data. Do not use integer, use a big integer. It takes just a few more bytes and you don't have a limit that you will reach. But if it's not the case, if you have to change the data type, that's possible in multiple phases.